Hey everyone, Dan with MacRumors, and in this video we're going to revisit the iPhone X about 1 year later, as we are only a few days away from the Apple event where Apple will reveal its latest generation of iPhones. The iPhone X was the first significant redesign in a few years. Apple went ahead and removed the home button, decreased the size of the bezels all the way around the phone, which paved way for the infamous notch at the top. The notch houses the True Depth camera system, which is the technology behind the new facial recognition feature called Face ID. Since Apple removed its home button, Face ID is the new way to unlock your iPhone, and of course, authenticate mobile payments. Along with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, the iPhone X also introduces a new glass back design, which paves the way for another first inside of an iPhone, which is Qi wireless charging. Overall, the design of the iPhone X to me is perfect. I personally love the size and the feel and just the overall form factor, and that it's able to squeeze this beautiful 5.8-inch display. And yes, Apple introduced a fairly large notch, which has led to other manufacturers copying this design. Honestly, in my opinion, the notch becomes a non-issue after only a few days of using the iPhone X. I'm not entirely sure why everyone hates the notch, but it's an integral part of the design if Apple was going to pull off its True Depth camera system inside of the iPhone X. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Face ID is the new way to keep the contents of your iPhone secure, and how users will authenticate Apple Pay payments over previous generations that had Touch ID. When I first tested the iPhone X, I was not the biggest fan of Face ID, and to this day, my thoughts on it are still a bit up in the air. While I definitely think Face ID has its advantages, the convenience of the fingerprint sensor in situations like using your phone while laying in bed, something that I do unfortunately quite a bit, or when wanting to check notifications while the phone is laying flat on your desk, can be a bit frustrating. Would I have loved Apple to figure out a way to keep Touch ID by implementing it underneath the display or placing it on the back? Sure. But hopefully, as time goes on, Face ID should only get better, and maybe Apple can come up with different remedies to fix these inconveniences. Now, performance with the iPhone X is very good, which isn't really a surprise. The iPhone X is running the A11 chip with 3 GB of RAM, and in the near year that I have been using this phone, I have rarely had any performance issues that wasn't because of any buggy software. Speaking of buggy software, iOS 11 was a complete and utter mess, and since the beta release of iOS 12, I've noticed dramatic improvements, which bodes well for the next generation iPhones. Now, battery life has been a little bit of an issue for me here and there, and I would love to see other manufacturers sacrifice bulk for a bit more battery life. Finally, the dual cameras on the iPhone X have been pretty good. It's definitely not the best camera on a mobile phone today, but it is definitely capable of taking some truly incredible pictures, especially when using portrait mode. As far as selfies go, I'm not the one to ask because I rarely take them, but the True Depth camera system does give us a little bit more than just Face ID. Animoji was a big feature that was introduced with the iPhone X, and although I rarely use it, the technology behind it is pretty impressive. The facial tracking and scanning also carries over to other apps like Snapchat, which provides for a smoother experience with some of the filters. Yes, overall, the iPhone X to me was a big success. I test a lot of other phones throughout the year, and I have yet to leave the iPhone X as my daily driver. With that said, this phone is definitely not perfect, and in just a few short days, Apple will announce the next generation iPhones, and it will be curious to see what they do to address some of the issues with the phone. We have covered the rumors and leaks surrounding the 2018 iPhones pretty extensively over the last couple of weeks, so be sure to stay locked into MacRumors.com and the MacRumors YouTube channel so you don't miss any more of our coverage in the weeks to come. So let us know your thoughts on the iPhone X so far. If you picked one up before, are you happy with your purchase, or are you looking to upgrade to one of the newer 2018 iPhones? Go ahead and let us know in the comment section down below. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.